All right. Hello, Brentwood, and hello, Facebook today. We are joining you again. We have our city manager, Kirk Bednar, and Mayor Ray Little with us today. Big news today coming from Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, and Governor Bill Lee today. I know we all watched the live press conference with him just a little while ago. And so a lot of people in Brentwood are probably wondering now, what does this mean for Brentwood? So Mayor, we'll start with you this morning.
Yes, Deanna, the Governor Lee did issue the beginning of a staged opening for the state, mainly dealing with restaurants and retail stores. Other businesses and enterprises that have been shut down will be addressed next week, according to his broadcast. These are the orders that we are under here in Brentwood. We're part of the 89 counties that have a state-controlled, basically, health department. We're not a metropolitan area like Davidson County. And so we're under these orders. So individuals and businesses who want to see about these opening orders should refer to the state documents concerning this staged reopening of our economy during this COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, and so the big part of the news today is that Governor Lee said restaurants are able to open on Monday, and then Wednesday will be kind of a retail store. So, Kirk, if you can kind of explain to us what that means for Brentwood businesses, and again, this is the state's plan that the city is just following.
That's correct. As the mayor said, Brentwood businesses will fall under the governor's plan, which again can be a little confusing, especially when Mayor Cooper has his own plan in Davidson County, and there are businesses with a Brentwood address in Davidson County. They obviously have to follow that Davidson County order. But for the businesses truly here in Williamson County and the city of Brentwood, for restaurants on Monday, there's a variety of pretty detailed list of things that they're expected to do, both for protection of their employees and for protection of their customers. From a customer standpoint, they're limited to 50% capacity of the restaurant in terms of seating. Bar areas can't be open. Tables supposed to be spaced so that we try to maintain 6-foot social distancing things. Masks for employees, a lot of details like that. Obviously don't want to list them all here, but encourage restaurants to dig into that. I assume their industry folks will be sharing those if they haven't already done that. But it's exciting to be able to open some things back up, but it still is a cautious opening and a lot of guidelines that need to be followed both for employees and customers.
Yeah, and we've kind of gone through a new normal over the past several weeks, and yet this is going to be one more thing. I mean, whenever people get ready to go out and eat in a restaurant, it's certainly going to look different. And you brought up a good point, Kirk. The city of Brentwood actually is in Williamson and Davidson, and so that may bring confusion for some people. So I wanted to point everyone to our website at brentwoodtn.gov. Our GIS department has worked on a great tool this past year to identify, based on a location, exactly where you're located. So do you want to elaborate on that, Kirk?
Yeah, I just want to clarify something you said. The city of Brentwood is only in Williamson County, but there's the Brentwood zip code, the Brentwood mailing address extends well into Davidson County. So from a city government standpoint, we're all Williamson County, which is why we will be following the governor's standards. But there are certainly restaurants, especially along Old Hickory Boulevard, even a little bit here in south of Old Hickory Boulevard, Nippers Corner area that may have Brentwood addresses, but they are clearly in Davidson County and have to follow the Davidson County guidelines.
Exactly. So, Mayor, going forward, I guess what are you looking to in terms of the information that's coming out next week? I know you and Kirk just got off a phone call with some of our state leaders.
Well, not a lot was said about that, except pretty much in the press conference with the governor mentioned that I think gyms and salons and personal contact businesses, I think is how they use the term, would be addressed next week. Right now, this document that you can get, I'm sure, through the state or whatever.
And on our website.
On our website will be very good for all citizens to read, not just business owners, but customers. And I will say I've been very pleased with the citizens of Brentwood as they've protected the vulnerable. They've loved their neighbor. For the most part, they've pretty much done the correct thing here in the last 3 or 4 weeks during these unprecedented times. And I look for them to do that continuing as we start this reopening. I believe most of the businesses love their customers and love their employees, and they want to see their employees stay healthy and their customers stay healthy. And so I feel like our businesses will follow the lead and do the correct thing as they're allowed to open and follow those guidelines.
And correct, Mayor, a big part of that is going to be continuing the social distancing. And I know, wearing a face mask out in public feels a little, it's not normal. It feels a little weird, to be honest, but that's what we've got to do right now, correct?
Correct. It's just hygiene, washing your hands, cleaning contact surfaces, social distancing, keeping your group small. If you have to go to work, pretty much limiting yourself with contact where you have to be with workers and then with your own families. We'll need to continue that for a while, because if the numbers do start to head back up, I feel like the governor will move us back to stricter guidelines. So it's very important for us to continue to be wise, to lower our risk in every situation.
Exactly. And I know that was a big part of his message this morning, is what happens if those numbers of COVID cases keep increasing. And so we do have all of his guidance posted on our website, brentwoodtn.gov, as we mentioned earlier. So please head there and find a lot of resources. So Kirk, I did want to ask you, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about how these new kind of restrictions that are being lifted, how does this impact city services and parks? I know people are anxious to get back to our tennis and our basketball courts.
Well, again, nothing that came out today really changes the way city operations will happen next week and for the coming weeks. This was specific to restaurants and retail eventually, and so our operations really won't change. Those of our folks, a lot of our folks, yourself included, as people can see, have been working from home, and we will continue to do that. These guidelines today certainly encourage that as a general guideline for business. But we are, starting to talk about the process and the phased opening of the library and what those services might look like. But for the immediate time period, really no change in the way we operate our city buildings and the way we operate our parks.
And we do have a live chat going on here right now, so we appreciate everyone who said hello. I do want to refer one question. Nathali Tanner is asking about why a retail store is safer than a smaller privately owned salon. And she's asking for clarification on that. And that's basically what the governor kind of addressed today, is that in those personal services, because trust me, I'm wearing my hair in a ponytail because I can't wait for that haircut again. But those personal services are really hard to offer that social distancing kind of measure. So, Mayor, would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, not being an expert on it, but just from a practical standpoint, in a retail store, a retail clerk can still take care or serve the customer without being in close contact with them physically as far as distancing. If someone's cutting your hair, they definitely will have to be within the 6 feet corridor. And so for the salon technician and for the client, I think the health authorities feel like that at this point, it's not at a point where they can allow that type of close contact in great quantity on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's the main concern is, a lot of times a salon technician is cutting your hair, or if someone's doing nails at a nail salon or whatever, they're going to be with more like 18 inches to 36 inches or 1.5 to 3 feet away, not 6 feet away. So I think that's the big concern there.
Yeah. And so, Ms. Tanner, we certainly hear your questions and your concerns, and when we're anxious for you guys to certainly get out there and start business all in due time when it's safe for everyone. So we appreciate you all taking your time out for hopefully lunch today to hang on with some of us here today. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I would just like to say that Tennessee is the volunteer state, and I think everybody has stepped up with a volunteer spirit, and that personal liberty does come with personal responsibility, and we all have a part to play in this. And every way we can mitigate exposure and lower risk, we're helping our neighbors. So all of y'all be safe, be healthy, and God bless.
All right. Kirk?
Nothing really I can add. I think the mayor said it well. Everybody wants to get back to work and the economy back moving, but there is some personal responsibility to do it in the right way and in a phased way, and that's what we're anxious to start next Monday, but everybody does need to follow those guidelines, and hopefully everything else will come along soon.
All right. So anyone's welcome to email us questions anytime at info@brentwoodtn.gov. All of our contact information is on the website, and I know the mayor would love to hear from anybody anytime. So we appreciate you guys being here today, and thank you for those who also tuned in. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Deanna.